Yeah, here we are at our sixth session, and it's been such a joy for me to be with all of you and to share this with you, Mavis. Thank you so much for saying yes.
Oh, I win.
Yeah, we all win.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so any well, I will share Renee's message. It was very sweet. Um, if it shows up yet. Unfortunately, I can't make it to today's session. I'm hoping Mavis is feeling better. My heart is pierced with gratitude for all that you've given me. Thanks so much for all of your wisdom. She's talking to all of us, sending so much love.
Oh,
That's uh that's what happens with collaborative teaching, don't you think? That we all get together to be together and to listen to one another
mm,
without judgment or without needing to fix or advise or just to listen and tell our stories and somehow in the process of that um, some wounds we didn't even know we had can heal. Huh. Who knew?
mm,
Mm.
mm.
Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Well,
Anything else that's come up for anything that's come up for people to share or explore?
So I was just going to say that it seems really strange. I came to the first one and then I'm coming to the last one.
Mm.
But in the middle, then, so much happened. Um, and even though I wasn't like I am now here, you know, looking at everybody, it was as if I was there.
Mm.
When I listened to I had this habit of waking up in the morning and then just putting my earphones in and just listening. And everybody's words
Mm.
were such a tonic, really a tonic for me. Um, in a way that I I hadn't expected. I don't know what I expected, but um, I did know that probably it was going to overlap with a difficult time being over in Scotland, but I had no idea how it was all going to play out in that way. And um, I think it just helped to um, just like Mavis had been saying, what magnificent beings we are because of that connection that we have to Source. It just really deepened that for me in a great way as each week was going on. And yeah, I kept using it's like a salve. It was just very soothing and comforting. Yeah, all of those. And I really thank everybody for every word that was said because yeah, I heard them all. I
Mm.
heard them all. So thank you so much.
and the irony of that is most of us probably can't remember what was said,
Was it? Yeah.
but we felt it And that's the point.
Yeah.
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 Welcome, Laura. Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that. Yeah, this being in this call has been incredibly helpful. It kind of felt like the principles had been coming in over the last few years and affecting the life and making sense here and there, but I had these doubts and it was a little, and then recently I just felt like a knowing, oh, I need to kind of go into this like more directly, and got on more calls, and so it's come in a stronger way that was really needed. And so the medicine of that has come in as well. And still on a learning curve, I guess, as we all say, right? We're like
Mhm.
infinitely learning. There's not like an end point or anything, but I definitely feel like the medicine upped its ante in the way I needed and the life needed. So that's been a godsend. Yeah, anyways. That's it for now. I'll speak again another time.
Did you have something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's been, thank you, Ellen, for inviting Anne-Marie onto the calls. We've really looked forward every Wednesday to being in the group, and it's been very, very special for us both to be there and share it in real time, but also what we each take away is amplified for the rest of the week.
Mm.
And I find doing this sort of thing with Anne Marie has been fantastic, and certainly after the last session, thank you, Mavis. She caught herself and she settled down, and she says, "Mavis says," just reminds herself. So that's been fabulous. Yeah, it's been a great journey. Thank you.
We should get some bumper stickers. What would Mavis say?
Yeah.
Oh, don't. No.
I know. I know that that's not exactly the opposite of what
No, 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 no,
I'm
no.
just. It was just to bring some lightheartedness, because I know that's not at all what. Yeah, but
No, I would have you arrested if you did that.
We crossed Mavis out and write wisdom over the
yeah,
top.
yeah.
See, the thing with your wife is she noticed a feeling
Yeah,
and calmed down, and she gave me credit for that.
she
Mm.
did. Yeah.
It was her.
Mm.
It was her. She noticed the feeling, and every feeling is is God talking. Just the universe saying, "This is how it feels to use your thinking the way you're using it right now." It's not criticizing you. It's not judging you. It's not beating you up. It's just letting you know. And it lets you know 24/7 for your entire life. Now that is an app. And I had nothing to do with it. I'm just getting the hang of pointing it out. But I didn't put it in anybody. That's important. It's important to know because we tend to kind of create super people in our minds and then compare ourselves to them, and we always come out feeling less than. And it turns out there aren't any super people. They're just all magnificently ordinary human beings, and there isn't anything better than that. Nothing better than that.
Mm.
Isn't it funny that we think that if there's a lot of people that know about somebody, that makes them more important? What's wrong with that picture? Yeah.
Laura, I just wanted to also check in with you. I know that things have been going on for you, and is there anything you want to share? And
Yeah, and I'm grieving right now. My mom did die.
um,
Oh,
Um, but I did think about you, Ellen, because I know you're with people at end of life and stuff. Every little bit helped. Every week I was here, everything I learned, even the last call I couldn't make, I watched the replay, and I think it was Tom, might be his name. He said he was like he went on like he was at a wake and then vacation or something, and he felt down still, and he just kind of looked like he was down, and I felt down too that week, and I thought this must be normal. So it's funny, like you can hear some positive things, insightful things, and then one person says like just being human, and that's okay too. So yeah, no, every week it's helped. I can't think of specifics at the moment. But it really helped all last week or 2 weeks for the past few weeks, everything going on and stuff. So yes, thank you. I appreciate this class.
Mavis, after my mom passed a couple years ago, you sent me a message that I will always remember. That I must be experiencing a wide range of feelings.
mhm.
And that even though things were tough with my mom, you were certain, and I'm certain, that there were moments that she really appreciated how I showed up for her and how I was there for her. And I'm sharing that with you. I'm passing that on to you, Laura, because it was really powerful to know that grief comes in every shape, size, color, feeling. And, I knew grief wasn't just sadness, but to be reminded of it when I was in it was really helpful. you know, to be reminded that the whole range, like fatigue and confusion and feeling lost, and like just more mood changes, being aware of like the more mood changes.
Yeah, it's helpful. Yes, thank you.
I was um I was in my 70s when my mom died, and I was so surprised that when she died, I felt like an orphan. If in your 70s you feel like an orphan, I did. And I'm glad I know there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
There's nothing wrong with any feeling. And the more I examined that, I thought, well, that makes sense. A big part of 70 years of my life, I was a daughter. And when my mom moved on to whatever was next, I felt like an orphan. And I've talked to so many people since then that had the same experience. That just for a moment or so, when your mom dies, it's mommy that died, not my mother.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And in our small group, and I don't, the people that have listened and haven't been here, but just in our small group, in 6 weeks, I'm aware of four losses, four deaths. Wow. Aside from all the losses of everyday life, but four humans have lost four people.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. So I'm glad you're here today, Laura, and however we can support or be here for you. Anyone else?
There was a few times, yeah, I was just kind of seeing that with a fresh light, the like, oh, it's totally fine if my mind's just like running through a strong irritation or just judgmentalism or just even just other particular thought-based experiences or sensory that feel like incongruent with who you are. Like, again, these are never like new insights, but you're always just like seeing it from a slightly different. It's just a little bit like, okay, that's fine. Of course that's going to happen. Like that, you don't have to, yeah, that doesn't have to mean anything. And yeah, that's it.
Thanks. So for those of you who are here, if you could grab a pen and paper or something that you can, yeah, pen and paper is better than, I like to take notes on my phone, but pen and paper is better. Lynn, do you have something? You're muted, but. And so before we get into letters, we're just going to do a little exploration. So we're just going to take a minute, about around 60 seconds. And I'm going to invite you to write down whatever thought comes through. And just put a space, a line in between each thought. So, yeah. So go ahead and let's just move ahead with that. Just write down whatever's here. Even if it's like, there's nothing here, Ellen, what are you trying to make me write down? Okay, that's a minute. So next to each thing, you're invited to write down whether the thought was in the past, in the present, or in the future. What showed up? What showed up?
I got 2 presents, 1 past and 1 future.
Oh, well balanced.
Thank you.
Who else?
Past, present, and future.
You got all 3?
Mm-hmm.
Which was most, which showed up most often?
It was kind of equal in a way.
Yeah, okay.
Between the 3, yeah.
I was
I
all
have, oh,
present
okay.
things.
You were all present.
Saying I was all present things, which I actually thought was unusual. Because I will do all 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It is probably unusual, but yeah.
unusual for me, I meant.
Yeah. Yeah, for all of us. If he did it in 5 minutes, it probably might be different. Yeah. Laura, go ahead.
Yeah, I have 4 present, 2 future, 1 past.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 present and one, two, oh no, 4 present and 1 past.
Ian, do you want to share or not required, you know?
I've got 1 present and 1 past.
Wow, you only had, yeah?
I had some very centered thoughts about a period of time, and I wasn't quite thinking
Oh,
about the broad truth.
oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Um, let's listen to Mavis read In Praise of Now and see what we learn about the now.
Well, I'm just curious about that whole thing. This is an
Oh,
idea that Ellen had, and it sounded interesting to me. And all I wanted to know is did it help? Was it helpful
mm,
to know that? And so I'm asking you, was that
mm.
helpful? And if so, how was it helpful?
Yeah, it was helpful because I was like, oh my gosh, that's a past thought or past something. It kind of woke it up a little bit. I was like, oh, weird. And then I'm holding on to it now. Yeah, there's just a little like just kind of
Kind of, oh.
a little like just like yeah.
I found it helpful and interesting in that how random they were and how I take so many so seriously, especially some habitual past ones that have a habitual feeling and you know why does that habitual feeling have more weight than I don't know the fact that I wrote down that I like Mavis's sweater, which I thought that was kind of funny that that was a thought that you know was like so it just seeing the utter randomness of it.
Yeah, it brings another level of awareness to the the passing things. Anyone else?
Yeah, it did make me think. And then wondering why, triggered like like why was that in the past or why am I thinking about that? And why isn't that now? So it was helpful.
I also noticed quite a few slipped there in between, and I ignored them.
Oh,
And it's interesting which ones I ignored and which ones I clung on to.
oh,
Don't know what that's about.
yeah. Well, because that's what we do, right?
Well, yeah.
We ignore and yeah.
Mm.
And next time you could try it and write them all down.
Yeah.
Because although maybe not, because maybe it's nice to be able to ignore, you know?
Mm.
Wouldn't it be nice to ignore all the stuff that we don't need to deal with now, right?
Yeah.
But that's a great awareness. Like I
Yeah.
didn't even want to write, you didn't want to write down.
Sometimes I find if I get onto a thought, then that breeds a whole line and it takes me down a track
Right.
rather than sitting back and letting them come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what's interesting about that, Martin, is that you had some thoughts you were not interested in giving any power to.
Mm.
And that is a really, really good thing to know, that
Mhm.
no thought has any power except what we give it. That's it. And our feelings, again, Mavis, she goes on and on about feelings, right? But our feelings are telling us what we're giving importance to. I just, it's unbelievably helpful if you know that that's what's going on. That,
It's okay.
for instance, if somebody says something mean-spirited to you, your habitual reaction might be to smack them one. But you might not want to give that one a lot of attention, or you've decided not to. And what then shows up is a more healthy response, not a
Not a reaction.
yeah. But it's like you can see where there's a space between thoughts where you decide what to give importance to, and you don't even know that's happening. But you want to know that's happening because that's evidence that we are taking responsibility for our own state of mind, which is a really good idea
Mhm.
to not let outside circumstances, situations, the past, the future that never shows up, or anybody else's thinking or behavior. We don't want to give away our state of mind to anything else and to just take responsibility for it.
Mm.
And that's not hard. In fact, it makes everything a lot easier if you see that you are actually running your show. And that a state of mind of kindness and compassion and peace of mind is available always. You are only a decision away from it. What to give importance to. If that feels complicated or difficult, it's because it's so simple. It's so simple, and it's going on all the time that we are making decisions about what information we're creating importance around and which ones we don't. It's this magnifying glass. You hold it up to a thought. Every thought you hold it up to looks big and important, but no thought has any power. We got it. But that doesn't mean we avoid feeling bad. I don't need to avoid feeling bad. There's nothing wrong with feeling bad. We just want to know its source and that it's temporary. Good, bad, or indifferent, every feeling is temporary.
Mm.
And it's all divine guidance or science, whatever you want to call it. Anybody else have, how was it useful?
Well, I just wanted to say that because I've had a lot of thinking since I came back about oh how I could have done things differently.
Mm.
Um, and um, but I've kind of caught myself sometimes going, you don't need to go that way. You really, really don't. Um, and there's this sort of balance between um, knowing that it's okay to have feelings, and and that, well, they'll go away. They'll pass.
Mhm.
So that's really strange. If I look at what I wrote down, because everything that I wrote down was about I'm feeling happy, actually. So that's strange.
It's
I
not
love
good.
I love what you caught.
Yeah.
I love that you caught yourself. Like that
Mhm.
awareness. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, there's never been a time in any of our lives when we weren't doing the best we knew to do, given what we believed to be possible.
Yeah.
Never for anyone. But we're so hard on ourselves because we think we should have known something before we knew it.
Yeah.
How can you do that? How can how can you know something before you know it? So we judge ourselves for not being able to do something that's actually impossible to do.
Yeah.
That's mean. It's innocently mean, but it's mean.
Yeah.
It's like saying to a 4-month-old baby, "What's the matter with you? How come you're not walking?" They don't know how yet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's a letter I got in email. It was sent to a lot of people from the Three Principles organization. And it was a letter written by a friend of mine a long, long time ago. Um, on she's describing the last time she was a good friend of Sid Banks, and the last time she was with him with a few other people, and they kind of knew it was probably the last time because he was very frail, um and I don't know, I talked to Ellen about it. We're gonna try and get you that letter
I'm going to
because
send it. Yeah.
it is it's this if all you ever knew is what's in that letter, you'd be fine. It it talks it talks about how there isn't anything to do to have impact in our own lives or in anyone else's. There isn't anything to do except just be ourselves, be our authentic, true God selves. And that isn't something that's hard to do. It's just unfamiliar for us because we're so busy being who we think we are. Our titles or our self-descriptions or kind of our ego selves, where we think our descriptions of ourselves are who we are. We're a way bigger deal than that. We are pure, intelligent energy in a form, human in our case, that creates its own experience of life and can realize it does so. And the more we see that, the less interested we are in being anything other than who we actually are. And when we show up anywhere, anytime, with just that, we are showing people what's possible. And we're not even trying to do that. We're just being ourselves. But when we're being ourselves, we're compassionate to ourselves and others. We're non-judgmental to ourselves and others. We're kind to ourselves and others. We're forgiving. We don't carry grudges. And we're not trying to do any of that. We're just being who we are. Helping others is not about preaching to them. It's not even about telling them about the principles. The principles aren't a thing. They just describe who we are. Ergo, being who we are is enough. It's all it's called for.
I'm sorry for my distractions. A mosquito came in and found me, and I apologize for moving around, but I'm getting bit up in the moment by moment.
I didn't even notice.
Oh, okay. Well, should we look at the In Praise of Now? It's on 81. Oh God, I've got like this bit up by this one little.
Okay. Do you want me to read it?
Please.
In Praise of Now. Dear reader, that's you guys. Let's do some simple math regarding time. If the past is made of memory, stored thought, and the future is made of imagination, dream thought, then the only time that has any reality to it is now, which means it is always now. It will never in your lifetime be any other time than now, and we can only ever experience now. So if we are the experiencer, the creator of our own thought by thought, experience of our life, and the author of our every moment, the most important question we can ask ourselves is simply this: how do you want to feel, experience now? We are often advised to be present in the moment, as if there were actually any alternative available to us. For example, when I was a very young girl, my father was in the armed services in the war in Europe. One day someone mentioned it was already Tuesday where my dad was. So I asked if we could call him so he could tell us what happened. Then we'd get to know about it ahead of time. Everyone laughed, but no one ever explained to me why that plan wasn't likely to work out. It took a few years, but I get it now. It is always the same now, everywhere. It is always just now. And now is always enough. So why don't we just stay here and live from moment to moment? I suspect it's because, like with most habits, leaving the present to hang out in the past or future seems reasonable to us. To begin highlighting the faulty thinking behind those reasons, I'd like to share some thoughts I have about the past. It seems to me that we don't really realize that the past doesn't even exist outside of our own minds. What we call the past is a collection of memories that more often than not are inaccurate and incomplete. It is a blend of spotty thinking, revised facts, selective editing, blatant falsehoods, and unconscious fantasies. Our pasts are stories stored in our memory banks about the best we and everyone else knew to be possible at the time they happened. This is the simple truth. Nobody could do better until they knew better. It is also true of now. We are doing the best we know to be possible, moment by moment. And when we know better, we will do better. I think it would be really, really helpful if we all understood that about ourselves and others. It explains everything. It is why we cannot have a better childhood, and is why we need to stop telling ourselves we can't enjoy life now until some mythical moment in time when our pasts never happened. The same thing is true about the future. For example, many years ago, I was at a family gathering, sitting in a rocking chair with a relative's newborn daughter in my arms. It was a lovely, soothing feeling to just look at her and marvel at her perfect tininess. I began overhearing some snippets of conversation nearby. Won't it be nice when she sleeps through the night? Just wait until she starts smiling. That's just the best. I bet you'll be glad when you can wear your regular clothes again. Won't she be lovely when she grows some hair? Unwittingly, everyone was creating subtle dissatisfaction with now by focusing on how much better things would be in an imaginary future. Then it occurred to me that I did the same thing on a regular basis, using phrases like, I can hardly wait until dot dot dot. Won't it be nice when dot dot dot. I wish dot 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 would be over so that that dot 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 can start happening and so forth. Isn't that an interesting habit of using one's thinking? Since now is the only time that actually exists, it seems a shame to waste it by always wanting to trade it for something better in an imaginary future. If you are anything like me, keeping your attention on now has been an elusive task at times. But the good news is, leaving now to get lost in the remembered past or imagined future is just a habit. That means we can catch ourselves at it in any moment and come straight back home to now. The more clearly I see this, the more I notice myself and others doing so naturally, without effort. I see that we were all born with the present moment as our default state and just got slowly, innocently, incrementally educated away from hanging out there. This is as true in our actions as it is in our thinking. There's an ancient Taoist concept known as Wu Wei, which roughly translates as effortless action or spontaneity. This is the state of mind babies and small children exist in most of the time. It is also a good description of the zone. Both athletes I have ever known, both personally and professionally, are well acquainted with the zone. Excuse me, as are artists, musicians, scientists, writers, and anyone else who periodically finds himself completely absorbed in something beyond themselves. The zone has been described as a feeling of timelessness, a no-thought sensation, a sense of complete well-being and responsiveness where we have everything instantly available for the task at hand. Most of us tend to believe that this seemingly magical state of flow is only available in a specific activity or set of circumstances, and even then, only sporadically, appearing out of the blue when we least expect it. But what if the zone is portable? What if it's experienceable anytime, anywhere, by simply getting out of our way and allowing ourselves to fully experience whatever it is that we are doing now? Can you see that means we are only ever one busy-headed moment away from being in the zone and experiencing flow now? Could it be that simple? Love, Mavis. So there you have it.
For me, the writing exercise just helps me be more aware of the drifting, the past, the present. So I like doing it with this, looking at it once in a while with this beautiful letter in praise of now. Did anything else come up? Which, well, Mavis was reading it? Or I should say, what else came up?
Can I share a little bit, please?
Yeah, please.
So this is a very mundane example. We moved house 3 years ago, and we didn't at that time have no past with the house, which was interesting. That's just
Had
occurred to
Oh, you had no
past.
pest. Yeah.
Yeah. We only had a present, and the day we moved in, it's 4 stories of a house, 2 rooms on each floor, so a basement, three flights, and every room was crammed with boxes. And I thought, how are we going to fit all this in? That's a future thought. But we were happy as it was at the present.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've decorated it and known there's other rooms to be decorated, it's always been good now
Mm.
and now. And we say, like, future Martin, future Anne-Marie will take care of whatever it needs to be done. So while we have a preference for certain things to be different, there's no striving for or trying to live in that future because we're happy now. And that's been very refreshing.
Yeah, what a
Yeah,
great
that's been
example.
great. Yeah. Um, so even while maybe we're decorating a room, we'll just do this bit now, paint this beam, and future Emery will take care of the wallpapering.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's been so calming. Yeah,
That's a great example of wisdom guiding you to the now.
absolutely. Yeah, because we could have got all caught up in excitement and say we want to get it finished, want to get it finished, but no, just
Cool.
settle. Yeah, and be guided. Yeah, because we didn't know how certain things had to be
Sure.
until we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Thank you.
I was, um, sorry, I had like more thoughts come in. Being in the flow. I was also seeing more overall with this little program how I'm seeing how we're made more and more simply. That was part of what I wanted to see. And being the title of the book, I thought, great. Oh. um, I I had been aware of something I was doing with thought feeling where it felt like I was trying to fix it, but I couldn't. I was making it more complicated, but I didn't know. More recently, I've been able to just flow with how we're made, and I don't it seems like I stopped doing whatever I'd been doing, which is great. In experiencing flow now, it becomes obvious when I'm not now. And there was I had talked about a habitual feeling. I thought this habitual feeling was part of business and it was negative, and now it looks so obvious. Like, why would it? I'm going to call it fear, but it's not. Why would sitting down to write a blog be inherently fear? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. But that was my experience of it. No, of course, that's just business. I'll get over it. So I all of a sudden this week saw that as not part of reality, but I could see it as my thought. And it
Mm.
started to flow and it started to shift and flow away. And it was so interesting because I didn't have to do anything. And there was all kinds of other experiences like that too, where I could see things that I had created in the past and kept on thinking that I had thought was real. And so I guess my point, still talking. My point is, yeah, in knowing the feeling of now and flow, you can recognize much more easily, well, what is it, what you're adding on or what is not now. I think that makes sense.
I'm aware of that I can be sensitive to the now and be aware when I'm shifting one way or another. And other times the shift is just back and forth and I'm less aware of it. I guess
I think,
another version of flow, Mavis.
well, I think it's important to know that we're in and out of now all the time, and that's
Yeah.
not wrong. It's not, we're in and out of states of consciousness all the time. That's not wrong.
Or a problem, or yeah.
It's uh it's all about just noticing, here she goes again, the feeling. Just notice. Just notice. Just keep a soft eye on the feeling because it I just I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to used to knowing that not only did the universe create us to be able to create our own reality, our own unique reality. Every human being is creating their own unique version of now, the experience of now. And not only that, we were given senses so that we can feel the quality of now, the quality of the experience we're creating now. Something must love us very much to have created us that way. What you don't have a friend that's so loyal and knows you so well that every minute you're alive, they will let you know the quality of the experience you're creating. I guarantee you, you might think you have the best friend in the world, not even close to the science of how you're made. It's astonishing and it's ordinary. Every human being is made that way. And yet every human being is unique. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I trust a system that can pull that off. I trust a system that will give me a personal intellect where I can store memories, opinions, attitudes, likes, dislikes, and little remembering to brush my teeth and put my shoes on the right feet and all that stuff. Very nice. But it also gave me the intelligence to be able to receive a thought, an insight that comes to my brain. A thought I've never had before. Maybe a thought nobody's ever had before. And we all are made that way. A little gratitude might be in order. Just a little.
And somehow what you said, Sarah, triggered just maybe related or unrelated insight, but it was just, see, it's funny. I have these insights and I can't hold on to them, but they come back. But it was, oh yeah, it was around like the relationship dynamic and just seeing, I keep seeing over and over, like how I don't, this association that's coming in my thoughts, like I don't need to do that. And the minute I kind of like sort of take my hands off that approach or something, like then that whole reality just sort of changes right there, kind of in that moment. Um, Anyways, it's just a passing insight, and I'm just encouraging myself to speak in groups. So, and get used to this, how we speak in these groups, just very like, it doesn't have to follow everyone's sequence, and we're just popcorn style. So,
Popcorn
Thanks.
stuff. That's cool.
Thanks for sharing your popcorn kernel.
Yeah.
I
I
was
was thinking about that exercise that Ellen had you do, and I thought, I mean, I didn't do it, but I thought, oh my God, I wouldn't be able to write fast enough to keep up with all the thoughts that are going through my head, much less categorize them into something.
It does slow it down a little bit. Or you notice that you can't catch them all, or you don't need to catch them
Yeah, you
all, or
couldn't possibly, and you don't even know what most of them are because most of the
yeah,
things we do, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know
yeah,
but we're feeling it.
yeah.
Isn't that amazing? You can feel thinking you have no clue you're doing. And it's important to know that because
Yeah.
it's what you're thinking is absolutely none of your business. But how you're feeling, that is. I know that's a big thing to say. Can you see the truth of it? That examining what you're thinking and why you're thinking it, and is it true, is it not true, and how long have I been doing that, and who taught me that, and what's the matter with me, and da 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 da. Da. Can you can you see how thinking about your thinking all the time is I I've said this before. It's like throwing logs on a fire that you wanted to put out. It is,
And exhausting.
yeah, because it doesn't work. Everything that doesn't work is exhausting.
Mm.
Like overthinking, like trying to figure things out. It's exhausting because you're using the thinking that created the exhaustion in the first place. So when we quit analyzing, processing, trying to figure it out, and we remember that we are made so that we can see what we need to see as soon as we quit trying to figure it out. Wisdom and common sense are alive and well in a peaceful mind. And they're always there. It's always present. But if we're making so much racket, we can't hear it. The only solution is to quit making racket. Can't be that simple. But what if it is?
I love how that next letter is your natural creativity, because when we're not doing that, that's what happens. That's what follows.
That's right.
You ready for that one? 90 on 91?
As soon as I can find it. You know more about my book than I do.
No, I cheated. I turned to the page.
Oh,
91.
okay. Hello, reader. Did you know that you are naturally creative? I'd like to explain a bit about what I meant by that. Here's the dictionary definition of the word create. To bring something into existence, to give rise to originate. The intelligent energy at the heart of the universe is the source of everything we can see, the form, and everything we can sense, the formless. It is the creator of all of it, including us. Then we, in turn, get to be the creators of our own individual experience of this larger created whole. Isn't that amazing? What a perfect circle. I just love that. When my great-granddaughter was about 3, I was watching her as she rocked back and forth on her rocking horse. She apparently decided she wanted the horse to stop rocking, so she got off, walked over to the bookshelves, lugged a big book over to the horse, put it under the rockers, climbed back on, and just sat there, looking very pleased with herself for her creative solution. However tempting it may be to just brag about my great granddaughter, her story is a simple example of the inborn creativity in all of us getting the chance to come through. Let's look at what this means for us in a down-to-earth, common sense, everyday sort of way. Creativity is inarguably at work when we consider what has been brought into being in terms of art, music, invention, architectures, and all the man-made wonders of the ancient and modern world. And we can see this same creativity at play in our own ability to create our every experience of life with the incredible tool of thought. By simply noticing how we're feeling from moment to moment, we can keep ourselves out of learned habits of creating misery and suffering while we show up in the world more of the time in the nicest feelings we can find. As if that weren't enough, the same creative capacity can give rise to responses we've never thought of before. Suddenly knowing the exact right thing to do or not do in potentially dangerous situations. Coming out with an amazingly appropriate response to someone in their time of need. Offering up a simple common sense solution to a seemingly complex problem. In other words, the creativity which made the world is always available inside us, offering up original, wise, common sense solutions and real-time responsive guidance to help us navigate our day-to-day lives. What an app, which, with much love to a fellow artist, Mavis. Aren't you glad you're you? Isn't that a good thing?
I'm amazed at the endless forms of creativity
Yeah.
and how they're expressed so individually and uniquely.
Sure, a couple of
Yeah,
quick-
yeah, go
thank
ahead.
you. So, a couple of quick examples. Uh, when I got to the airport at Manchester, I was flying from England, Manchester to Spain, and I looked on the board and it said Alicante, relax, plane's not coming in yet.
It actually said relax.
It said relax. I thought that was good, yeah. Yeah. So I did, and I went to the bathroom. I came back, looked on the board, and it said, last call for boarding. Now, I'd only been in there, 5 minutes? So I panicked. I created massive panic. And so as best I could, I ran, sort of hobbled and ran with my case, and it said 11 minutes to the gate where you're flying from. And I down a corridor, down another one, and I know this thinking about, well, I'm gonna miss the plane, I'm gonna miss the course, and blah, 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 blah. And as I got towards the departure bay, there were four uniformed people coming up, and I thought, oh heck. So I ran there, and the gate was closed, and that was it, done. And there were two other staff on a different one, and I said, please let me on. I must go. And she said, well, show us your boarding pass. And I showed the boarding pass for Alicante. I said, well, that plane's not going to Alicante. That's going to A something else in Spain. So I'd looked on the board, I'd created that it's an Alicante, and all this blind panic. And what a relief when I found out that was coming. I was so grateful. Um, so creativity going crazy with a muddled mind. Now, on the other side of it, I found when I'm absolutely present, and for me, this is where it really works. Back to working in the house, I have every faith that when I set out to do a job, mending a door, putting panels round, I'm going to do it. And I find so many cans of worms, as it were, stuff that comes up. But just by staying present, the creativity comes, and the answers, they're just there. And it's so simple. It is so simple. So for me, two sides there of using my creativity. One from a crazy mind and one from a present, quiet mind. Could it be that simple?
Yeah, yeah, good. That's, yeah. To see it work
Yeah,
so perfectly.
yeah.
I'm reminded of how our stories like that, when we tell them, how helpful they are. I mean, we can relive a story, and sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's awful. But when we use a story to just help, it's a whole different thing. I remember this is years ago. I was at this big business place talking to a whole bunch of people in this big auditorium, and we had a break, and I went to the bathroom, and I walked in. It was this huge bathroom, and there was this enormous bug crawling up the wall. And yeah, I just got the creepies. But you know how sometimes when you see something that's so god awful and ugly, you want to see it a little closer? And so I moved it a little closer. It was a hole in the wall,
Yeah.
right? Now I was ready to call exterminators or the National Guard or something to save us all from this beast. But I went back and I told that story to the audience because it was this perfect example of creating something with my mind that actually wasn't going on. It was it was like the universe handed me this great teaching experience. It's we're so taken care of. We are just so taken care of. I can still do that. I can I haven't forgotten how to terrorize myself. I've lost a certain amount of interest in it, but I haven't forgotten how to do it.
So I was thinking that I had been a real master creator this week, thinking about what was going to happen and what wasn't going to happen about this trip to Spain. And um, just when you were reading about now, I realized that everything I was doing was all, what if this? Oh, what if that? Oh, this could be, this might be that. Oh, no, maybe not that or that or that. And I just saw, I just saw, I don't, if I, if I just thought about now, then all of that would be okay. Because I just thought all I'm doing is thinking about what's not here in this moment. I just saw it.
Mm, beautiful.
I that what's the point of doing all that? It's crazy. What is the point of doing all that?
See, that's awesome when you see something that you didn't know before, a second before you didn't know
No,
you
yeah.
didn't know it was optional.
Uh, but and that it's so simple.
Yeah,
It's just a simple thing,
yeah,
which is it's like kind of revolutionary, really, isn't it?
yeah. And I'm not done yet seeing things that have been right
Mm.
under my nose forever
Yeah.
that I didn't see them. I tell you what they are, but that's the point. I haven't seen them yet, but I will. I
Yeah.
know I will. And at first they're embarrassing and then they're funny. And then I'm grateful because it's something else that I don't have to do anymore.
Mm. Yeah.
Thanks, Lynn. That was, yeah, we've all had those moments of, but I love what how you're describing it, Mavis, that we didn't know the second before we didn't know.
Okay.
Even no matter how obvious it was, how simple it was,
Yeah.
we did. And we only know what we know in the moment.
Yeah. And when we know better, we do better.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I haven't been reading these, but in the little book there are quotes from people from a little bit ago or to all the way to a long time ago that knew what we're learning now. This is not an invention of Sid Banks or anybody else. It's wisdom. It's common sense. And it's been available to us since there's been an us. And we need to know that. We need to know that what happened with Sid Banks and his amazing insights is available to all of us. All of us. He saw in a split second what he had never seen before, just like you did, Lynn. Just like you did. And that's one of my favorite things about knowing this is knowing that that can happen any second to anybody at any time, including me. That I'm going to make real something I hadn't seen before. I'm going to see it. And you can't make yourself see it, but you can be completely open to it and know that it's a magnificently ordinary experience that's open to everybody. Now you will catch yourself, Lynn, terrorizing yourself about the future. I guarantee it, probably within 5 minutes. But now you know. You can't get fooled anymore. Now you know. Oh, there's that thing again.
And that's so exciting. That is so exciting.
Yeah.
Rather than fearful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that once you catch that, that thought never comes into your head.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does. But now you can see, aha, you
Yeah.
can't fool me anymore. It's too
Yeah.
late. Too late.
Yeah.
And it might take you a minute or two to realize that's what you're doing again. Doesn't matter
Mm.
because now you know something you didn't know before.
Yeah.
That's important, Mavis, what you just said. It doesn't matter
Mm-mm.
whether it's a minute or an hour or a week or, yeah, doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that doesn't matter because you can't unhave the insight you just had.
Yeah.
Kelly, go ahead.
Well, yeah, that I was feeling how that appears to be really true because it feels like you'll have these insights over and over around a particular theme that keeps coming up, and then it does feel like you can't, it builds on itself. It's almost like it keeps seeing and seeing and seeing, and to the point where like you just can't, that's not a problem anymore or something. But it's neat to, like, that feels very hopeful, putting it in 3P language. It actually does feel really hopeful for other areas of things that haven't been seen, but just knowing like, oh wow, that insight like has a momentum to it. Um,
It's like
yeah.
frightening myself about the future is still a possibility. It's an option. I've just lost interest in it because now it's just an option, and it's I catch myself at it. That's all I have to do.
So we have about 10 more minutes and we'll finish with the Shining Eyes letter that's so sweet. But any wrap up shares or um, just things you want to put in the room here? Anyone, go ahead. And for those that don't have the book, there are some great quotes, as Mavis mentioned, in between the letters that are we probably could do a whole 6 weeks on just the quotes, you know?
It's I don't think of this as a 3P book. I don't, you might have noticed I don't even talk about the principles because they are a description of how we're made. It's not it's not just another way of looking at things. And it's common sense and it's wisdom and it's been available to us since there's been an us. And we really need to know that.
I don't know whether we should thank you or Michael Neal for pushing you and pushing you to write these letters, but
Thank Michael. It never would have happened.
yeah, but you at some point you said yes, and for
I want you to know that this once I realized I could just write letters, I thought, oh, who can't write letters? So I just went out on my porch and have this imaginary person in my head that's gonna pick this book up. And I had conversations with that person whose name is Reader. His first name is Deer, but his name is Reader. And it just, this book was not written from my personal intelligence. I'm not that smart. It came from that place that I'm pointing to in all of us, that place where we know. We may not be able to explain what we know, but we know. And when we trust that, we cannot go wrong. I read that book sometimes and I wonder who wrote it. It wasn't me personally. And I'm thankful for that because it's a better book because it wasn't me personally.
Mm.
But thank Michael because he said, "Well, why don't you just write letters?" That was
Yeah.
it. But I think it was his last try because he'd been trying for years. I changed my mind. I just changed my mind in a split second because writing a book I can't do, but I can write letters. And so can you. So can everybody. I
And
just,
the letters are so useful to share a message with someone else that you might want to share. That, that if they heard it from you, they might have resistance. But because there's certain people in our lives that are sometimes close to us that we want to share something with, and they can't hear. But sometimes they can hear because Mavis, because it's a letter that someone wrote. So, and it's simple and it's true.
that's true, but it's also true that if we want to share, all we have to do is be ourselves.
Mm.
We don't have to, I mean, I like it that people buy my book, but I do not believe that everybody is going to get changed by reading my book. But I do believe the power of somebody seeing somebody just being themselves can change somebody's life. And everybody can do that.
Yes.
Everybody can just relax and remember that you're made of God stuff, and that's no small thing. And it feels right
Mm.
to just be who you already are. It feels right. There's no fear involved. There's no insecurity involved. There's no self-judgment or unworthiness involved. It's just you being you. And that's enough. I promise. That's enough.
I believe you, Mavis.
It's true whether you believe me or not. So.
I know, but I do, and I do. Do you want to read us Shining Eyes?
Sure. Shining ice. Any minute now. Here it is. Hello, dear reader. I'd like to begin this letter with one of my favorite questions. When was the last time you felt the way you wish you could feel all the time? What did it feel like? In her book, Creating the Teachable Moment, Darlene Stewart tells the story of her interaction with a young boy diagnosed with attention deficit
You
disorder.
okay? You okay?
Do you need to go?
I think he's okay. He's just getting over a really bad cough, respiratory thing, and the lingering cough. So let's resume.
In her book, Creating the Teachable Moment, Darlene Stewart tells the story of her interaction with a young boy diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. When he forgot to take his medicine, as he did today, he was a tornado in tennis shoes. Windows shook when he passed, and now slumped against the wall, he was unnaturally quiet. Looking at the defeated boy, my mood dropped too. From that state of mind, I had no techniques, no words of advice or encouragement. I felt like I'd said it all before, hundreds of times. Not expecting an answer, I asked Danny, "What in the world do you want?" Without hesitation, Danny looked at me and said, "I want shining eyes." A big hole opened up in front of me. "What do you mean?" I asked, already knowing the answer. Danny said, "I want shining eyes. I want someone when they see me to get eyes that are soft and wet and shiny, like they have light coming from behind. Shining eyes. That's what I want." While on the one hand, that's a beautiful story about a little boy who desperately wanted to experience love, it's also a story about a woman who understood that's what he wanted and was happy to give it to him, who was able to see past his behavior to who he really was. We can all do that. We can stop getting fooled by our own unhelpful habits and the unhelpful habits of others. All Danny wanted was to be treated with loving kindness, even when he was misbehaving or in a low mood. And it turns out that loving kindness looks a lot like shining eyes. How you choose to be kind doesn't matter as much as that you choose. Find that place in you that is naturally full of kindness, compassion, and grace, and act from there. Any action taken from that place has a ripple effect we can't begin to imagine. With loving kindness and shining eyes, Mavis. That is absolutely the best advice I could ever give to anyone, including myself. In this world that seems to be having a nervous breakdown, it needs a lot of kindness, and we can do that. We can also do judgment and ranting and raving and othering and carrying on. But that's the problem. It's not the solution. Loving kindness is. And in the end, really, it's just you being you. No matter how unfamiliar that may be to you, it's your nature to be compassionate and kind.
After I read that letter for the first time, I wept for shining eyes for myself. May we all be blessed with shining eyes
Definitely.
for ourselves.
Yeah, don't wait for somebody else to give them to you.
Mm.
They may not know how yet.
Mm.
Thank you so much for your stories and your kind attention and for coming with open minds and open hearts. It helps me a lot.
Yeah, it was been lovely.
Thank you, Ellen.
Oh, you're welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Mavis. Everybody.
Yes, thank you
Well,
so much. Thank you.
welcome. Take good care, everybody.
Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.